From the earliest whispers of human memory, there's always been a space between what we know and what we cannot explain, a shadowy corner of history where the mind lingers in curiosity and quiet wonder. It is here, in the delicate tension between the light of knowledge and the darkness of the unknown, that our journey begins. Across the continents and through the ages, civilizations have risen and fallen, leaving behind traces of their existence in stone, in soil, and in the stars. Some of these traces speak plainly to us, revealing the ingenuity and resilience of their creators. Others, however, seem almost deliberately enigmatic, as if the past itself were offering a gentle invitation to look closer, to wonder more deeply, and perhaps to accept that some mysteries may never be fully unraveled. Even in the soft glow of modern understanding, we are drawn to what eludes explanation. The human mind, naturally inquisitive, seeks patterns and meaning, yet there are echoes of history that defy even our most sophisticated tools. Ancient monuments, artifacts whose purpose is debated, and records that hint at knowledge lost to time all whisper across the centuries, asking silent questions that remain unanswered. There is a subtle beauty in this ambiguity, a kind of quiet poetry in realizing that we are not the first to marvel at the world's mysteries, and we will not be the last to encounter them. As the night deepens and the world slows, it becomes easier to listen to these echoes, to feel the weight of ages and the delicate intricacy of human imagination. Imagine standing before a monument whose stones were laid with such precision that modern engineers still wonder how it could have been achieved, or holding an artifact that seems far too complex for the era it comes from. There is a meditative rhythm in contemplating these wonders, a gentle cadence that carries the mind from certainty into reflection, and from reflection into the quiet thrill of not knowing. It is a journey that soothes the mind even as it sparks curiosity, a soft and steady hum of awe that encourages contemplation rather than urgency. Across time, there have always been those who sought to explain the inexplicable, scholars and dreamers alike. Yet even the most meticulous records and careful analyses cannot always bridge the divide between evidence and understanding. And perhaps that is part of the allure, the delicate balance between the comfort of facts and the tantalizing mystery of the unknown. Some mysteries linger in the shadows of human history, not because they are unsolvable, but because they challenge our assumptions, defy our expectations, and stretch the boundaries of imagination. To explore them is to step lightly between what is certain and what is possible, to move gently through the corridors of time where every shadow hints at a story waiting to be told. In this space between light and dark, between known and unknown, we find both humility and inspiration. The remnants of ancient civilizations, from the grand monuments that still tower against the sky to the smallest fragments of pottery buried beneath centuries of earth, remind us that human ingenuity has always been both ordinary and extraordinary. Each discovery, each fragment, each strange occurrence invites us to look closer, to think more deeply, and to consider the unfathomable scope of human history. There is a quiet lesson in these mysteries, that the past is never truly gone, and that the questions it leaves behind may be just as important as the answers we seek. And so, as we settle into the gentle rhythm of this exploration, let us begin not with the certainty of conclusions, but with the soft unfolding of questions. We will wander through the echoes of lost civilizations, examine monuments whose purpose still eludes understanding, and linger on artifacts and phenomena that challenge the very foundations of what we know. Each step of this journey will be deliberate, measured, and serene, inviting the mind to drift along with the narrative as it flows from one mystery to the next. In this quiet space, the unknown is not something to fear, but something to admire, a gentle, persistent reminder of the depth and complexity of our world, and of the endless curiosity that binds us across the ages. Here, in this delicate intersection of history and mystery, we will begin to listen, to see not just what was, but what might have been, to appreciate the profound beauty of human curiosity and creativity, and to accept that some answers may remain forever just beyond our reach. And in that acceptance, we find both peace and wonder, a quiet gateway into the vast, timeless tapestry of mysteries that lie ahead, waiting to be explored under the calm, unhurried gaze of the night. Across the vast expanse of time, entire civilizations have emerged, flourished, and then vanished, leaving behind traces that spark both admiration and deep curiosity. Their remnants, scattered across continents, are not merely stones and relics. They are whispers of lives lived, of ideas formed, and of knowledge that sometimes seems far beyond their era. Among these, some of the most fascinating are those societies whose achievements seem to defy the understanding of modern historians and archaeologists. The Indus Valley Civilization, for example, with its meticulously planned cities, sophisticated drainage systems, and uniformity in measurement, presents a puzzle that continues to intrigue scholars. How did people in an age without modern machinery coordinate such precise urban design? And why did the civilization seemingly disappear without leaving a clear explanation behind? The contrast between the evidence of their brilliance and the mysteries surrounding their decline creates a compelling tension, one that invites both awe and quiet contemplation. Far across the oceans, in the Americas, the Olmec civilization left behind colossal stone heads, some weighing tens of tons, each carved with such precision that even today the methods remain debated. The scale and artistry suggest an understanding of tools, logistics, and social organization that challenges assumptions about early societies. How could these people, with technology limited to stone, wood, and perhaps rudimentary metals, move and sculpt such massive objects? And yet, they did, leaving these silent guardians to look out across the centuries, their eyes fixed on questions we still struggle to answer. There is a soothing rhythm in imagining the care, effort, and purpose that went into these creations, and in considering that despite our modern advances, we are still humbled by their skill. In Europe, the megalithic structures scattered across the British Isles, such as stone circles and burial chambers, further illustrate this delicate dance between known and unknown. Each standing stone seems deliberate, aligned with celestial events or landscape features, hinting at purposes that are part ritual, part astronomical observation, and perhaps part storytelling. The science of archaeology can tell us how these stones were moved and arranged, yet cannot fully explain why or what ideas drove the people who placed them. There is a quiet poetry in this uncertainty. The stones themselves are immutable, while our understanding shifts with each generation, leaving space for wonder, imagination, and reflection. For a listener drifting toward sleep, the imagery of these ancient landscapes, shrouded in mist and moonlight, evokes a serene contemplation of human persistence across the ages. Even within the familiar boundaries of recorded history, enigmas persist. Cities that once teemed with life, now reduced to ruins, hold secrets in their walls and artifacts. In the Indus Valley, tiny seals engraved with symbols remain undeciphered, a written language frozen in time. We can admire their craftsmanship, trace the outlines of figures and animals, and speculate about commerce, communication, and ritual, yet the true meaning remains elusive. Similarly, the Olmec heads may record the likeness of rulers or deities, but their exact significance, the stories they told, and the ceremonies they witnessed are forever shrouded in mystery. The contrast between what we can see and touch and what we cannot fully understand invites a meditative reflection, allowing the mind to float between the known and the unknowable. It is not only the scale and artistry that captivate, but also the subtle indications of sophisticated knowledge embedded within these civilizations. Evidence of standardized weights, early forms of mathematics, and astronomical observation suggests that these ancient peoples understood principles that would later be rediscovered or formalized by science. This raises quiet, profound questions. Did they stumble upon these insights independently, or were there connections between far-flung cultures that we no longer recognize? Were these flashes of brilliance isolated, or hints of a shared human understanding, stretching across oceans and continents in ways we may never fully reconstruct? For the listener, the gentle rhythm of pondering these possibilities can be both soothing and intriguing, like gazing at stars that are impossibly far away, yet familiar in their constellations. There is also the haunting element of disappearance, of civilizations that vanish almost without trace. The Indus Valley's urban centers declined, leaving behind empty streets and abandoned granaries. The Olmec culture faded from prominence, replaced by successors who may have absorbed or ignored its knowledge. These disappearances, unexplained and sudden, create a sense of impermanence that contrasts sharply with the permanence of the monuments and artifacts they left behind. In this way, mystery is intertwined with mortality, not only of individuals, but of entire societies. As we drift through this narrative, the mind gently considers both the fragility and the endurance of human effort, a reminder that what survives may only hint at the full richness of the past. Across continents, patterns emerge, structures aligned with celestial events, art that speaks to ritual or storytelling, systems that suggest trade and communication networks spanning hundreds of miles. There's a quiet symmetry in these discoveries, a rhythm that the mind can follow almost meditatively. Yet, despite our ability to observe, measure, and analyze, we are often left with questions that evade definitive answers. Why were some cities abandoned? How were massive stones transported without modern machinery? What knowledge did these societies possess that did not survive the passage of time? The tension between our understanding and the lingering mysteries creates a delicate balance, holding the listener in a state of contemplative curiosity rather than restless pursuit, allowing the imagination to roam freely. Ultimately, the study of lost civilizations is an exploration of both human achievement and human mystery. It is a journey into the ingenuity, creativity, and resilience of those who came before us, as well as a meditation on the limits of our understanding. Each artifact, each ruin, each fragment of evidence offers a glimpse into a world that is at once familiar and foreign, a world that challenges assumptions, sparks wonder, and quietly invites reflection. As the night deepens, the stories of these ancient peoples become companions, guiding us through the landscapes of time with gentle persistence, and reminding us that while science can illuminate much, some corners of history are meant to remain enigmatic, their beauty lying as much in what we do not know as in what we do. In this delicate interplay of evidence and enigma, of brilliance and disappearance, we find the essence of human curiosity. The past is alive in its mysteries, and we are drawn to it not only to seek answers, but to experience the quiet awe of wonder itself. The lost civilizations, with their silent cities, their enigmatic artifacts, and their unanswered questions, beckon softly, guiding our attention into a realm where history and mystery are inseparable, and where the mind can drift gently between understanding and imagination, preparing us for the next chapter of exploration. There are places in the world where human hands, working long ago, left marks so precise and enduring that even today they defy our understanding. Standing before them, one cannot help but feel a mixture of awe, humility, and a quiet, lingering curiosity. These are the monuments that seem to have been designed not merely as shelters or tombs, but as statements, messages etched into stone that reach across centuries. Among the most famous are the pyramids of Giza, whose immense scale and precise alignment with celestial bodies have fascinated scholars for generations. The stones, some weighing more than 10 tons, were quarried, transported, and arranged with a level of accuracy that challenges our modern engineering assumptions. How could people without cranes, trucks, or advanced machinery have constructed such perfect forms? The very question invites contemplation, a gentle meditation on human determination, ingenuity, and the mysteries that persist through time. Beyond Egypt, in the rolling hills and misty landscapes of Britain, Stonehenge rises in quiet majesty. Each standing stone, carefully placed, aligns with the solstices, hinting at a deep understanding of astronomical cycles. Archaeologists have theorized about its purpose: a ceremonial site, an observatory, a gathering place. Yet, for all the research, much remains speculative. The choices made by those who raised the stones, why these stones, why this arrangement, why in this location, are lost to time, leaving a silent, enduring puzzle. The experience of imagining these prehistoric builders, moving massive stones with sheer human strength and ingenuity, allows the mind to wander gently between fact and imagination, a rhythm that soothes even as it stimulates curiosity. Half a world away, the city of Machu Picchu clings to the mountains of Peru, a testament to both human resilience and architectural mastery. Its terraces, temples, and walls demonstrate a sophisticated knowledge of stonework, hydraulics, and urban planning. Even with modern tools, replicating the precision of these constructions would be a formidable challenge. The sheer thought of how the Incas transported enormous stones up steep slopes, and how they ensured stability in an earthquake-prone region, fills the mind with a calm sense of wonder. Here, as in Giza and Stonehenge, the known meets the unknown, creating a quiet tension that is not frightening but meditative, a space for reflection on human creativity and the mysteries that linger in the shadows of achievement. These monuments share more than just physical grandeur. They share an intricate connection to the skies. Alignments with solstices, equinoxes, and distant stars suggest a sophisticated understanding of celestial rhythms. The builders were not only architects, but observers of the cosmos, weaving the movements of the heavens into the very structures they raised. For the modern observer, this duality, immense human effort grounded in earthly stone, intertwined with the vastness of the sky, creates a contemplative space where curiosity can drift gently. It is a reminder that the ancients sought to connect their lives to forces larger than themselves, to find meaning in both the land beneath their feet and the heavens above. What adds to the mystique of these monuments is their endurance. The pyramids, Stonehenge, and Machu Picchu have survived millennia of wind, rain, and human activity. They endure as witnesses to civilizations that once thrived, as markers of skill and devotion, and as silent teachers of questions we cannot fully answer. Each weathered surface, each precise angle, each subtle alignment serves as both evidence and enigma. Standing in their presence, one cannot help but sense that there is more to their story than the stones alone can tell. The past, though distant, feels immediate, as if the builder's intentions whisper softly through the ages, inviting us to imagine, reflect, and wonder. The construction of these monumental sites raises questions about knowledge, labor, and organization. Coordinating thousands of workers, planning months or years in advance, and managing resources without modern technology suggests societies that were highly organized, disciplined, and visionary. Their achievements challenge our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient peoples, reminding us that innovation, ingenuity, and human determination are timeless qualities. Yet, these very achievements also underscore the mysteries that persist. Precise construction techniques, the selection and transport of massive stones, and the symbolic meanings encoded in these structures remain partially obscured. The gentle tension between what we understand and what remains hidden creates a rhythm of curiosity, a soft meditation that encourages the mind to wander thoughtfully rather than to rush for answers. Beyond their technical accomplishments, these monuments also evoke questions about purpose and meaning. Were the pyramids built to honor the dead, to demonstrate power, or to connect with the cosmos? Did Stonehenge serve as a calendar, a sacred space, or both? Was Machu Picchu a royal retreat, a ceremonial site, or a fortress? Each possibility hints at intentions that were deeply human yet are now partially obscured by the passage of time. The ambiguity allows for imagination to flourish as the listener drifts between historical facts, archaeological interpretations, and the infinite what-ifs that linger like soft shadows in the mind. In this way, The unknown becomes not a source of frustration, but a gentle companion, encouraging reflection and quiet awe. There's also a serene beauty in contemplating the interplay of nature and construction. The pyramids rise from the desert sands, aligning perfectly with celestial events, yet shaped by the relentless sun and shifting winds. Stonehenge emerges from grassy plains, framed by the sky's changing light throughout the year. Machu Picchu rests among clouds and steep mountains, its terraces blending seamlessly with the natural contours of the land. In each case, human ingenuity is harmonized with the natural world, creating a quiet rhythm that soothes as much as it inspires. This interplay reinforces the meditative quality of the narrative, allowing the listener to experience the majesty of these sites in a calm, immersive way. The enduring fascination with these monuments also lies in the mystery of their preservation. How have they withstood centuries of climate, conflict, and decay? Their survival speaks not only to technical mastery, but to an enduring human desire to leave a mark on the world, to communicate across time. And yet, the monuments are incomplete teachers. They provide glimpses but not full explanations, leaving space for the mind to wander through the corridors of possibility. Each unanswered question becomes a thread in a larger tapestry of wonder, gently guiding attention from the tangible achievements of the past to the enigmatic stories that lie hidden in their shadows. In this contemplation of monuments, the listener is invited to consider the larger rhythm of history, the rise and fall of civilizations, the interplay of human ambition and natural forces, and the persistent questions that defy final answers. The pyramids, Stonehenge, and Machu Picchu are more than architectural marvels. They're anchors in time, silent witnesses to ingenuity, mystery, and the human desire to reach beyond the ordinary. As we drift among them, we move through a world where knowledge and wonder coexist, where the light of understanding meets the shadow of enigma, and where curiosity is encouraged to roam freely, calmly, and meditatively. In their presence, the mind can relax, imagining the labor, intention, and devotion of those who came before, while also savoring the beauty of the unknown. By the time one steps back, whether physically or in the mind's eye, these monuments leave a lingering impression. There is much about what is hidden as what is revealed, as much about questions as about answers. Their scale, precision, and alignment speak to extraordinary human skill, yet their mysteries invite quiet reflection, imagination, and awe. They are timeless teachers of patience, wonder, and humility, demonstrating that even across millennia, the past can speak to us softly, guiding thought and emotion in a manner that is both contemplative and soothing. A perfect introduction to the deeper mysteries that await beyond the stones themselves. From the earliest days of human observation, the night sky has been both a guide and a mystery. Countless generations lifted their gaze toward the stars, tracing patterns and movements, seeking meaning in the vast expanse above. Ancient cultures did not merely look at the heavens. They listened to them, measured them, and wove their rhythms into the very fabric of daily life. Across continents and centuries, people noted the positions of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, creating calendars, predicting seasonal changes, and even marking sacred events. The knowledge embedded in these observations is astonishing, and yet much of it remains elusive to modern science, leaving behind quiet mysteries that continue to captivate and soothe the imagination. One of the most remarkable examples of ancient astronomical understanding is the precise alignments of monuments with celestial events. Stone circles, temples, and observatories were often constructed to mark solstices, equinoxes, or the rising of specific stars. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, aligned the pyramids and other monumental structures with the cardinal points and with bright stars such as Sirius, whose annual appearance heralded the flooding of the Nile, a vital event for agriculture. Similarly, the builders of Stonehenge arranged massive stones to correspond with the summer solstice sunrise and winter solstice sunset, transforming the landscape into a calendar etched in stone. Such feats reveal not only technical skill, but also a deep, contemplative relationship with the cosmos, inviting us to imagine the minds of those who observe the sky with awe and precision. Farther east, the ancient Chinese and Mayan civilizations developed sophisticated methods of tracking celestial movements. They recorded eclipses, planetary cycles, and the phases of the moon with remarkable accuracy, often integrating these observations into calendars, religious rituals, and agricultural planning. The Maya, for example, created complex calendrical systems capable of predicting solar and lunar eclipses decades in advance, a feat that required long-term observation and an intuitive understanding of celestial mechanics. Their astronomical records, etched on stone and preserved in codices, demonstrate a subtle balance between empirical observation and spiritual meaning, revealing a worldview in which the heavens and the earth were intimately connected. Yet, despite these impressive achievements, many questions remain unanswered. How did these civilizations acquire such precise knowledge without the benefit of telescopes or modern instruments? Were their methods now lost to time, perhaps passed down through oral traditions, careful observation, or even unknown technologies? The very existence of these precise measurements, carved into stone and preserved for millennia, creates a quiet tension between what we can understand and what remains mysterious. It is in this tension that the mind finds a gentle curiosity, wandering freely among the stars, considering both human ingenuity and the vast, incomprehensible scale of the cosmos. The appeal of ancient astronomy lies not only in its precision, but also in its integration with culture and belief. Celestial phenomena were often interpreted as signs, guiding human action and influencing decisions from planting crops to conducting rituals. In many cultures, the sky was a mirror of earthly life, with the movements of celestial bodies reflecting divine patterns or the fates of kings and empires. This blending of observation and interpretation adds depth to the mystery, creating a tapestry in which knowledge and imagination, science and spirituality, are woven seamlessly together. For a listener drifting towards sleep, there's a gentle rhythm in imagining the ancient stargazers, night after night, observing, recording, and reflecting in silence, their thoughts carried across time to our present moment. Some ancient structures appear to encode more than simple alignments. They suggest an understanding of complex cycles and cosmic forces that modern science is only beginning to appreciate. For example, certain pyramids and temples are aligned to specific planetary movements or stellar constellations, suggesting that their builders may have been aware of long-term astronomical cycles. These alignments raise profound questions. Did ancient peoples comprehend concepts akin to precession, the slow wobble of the Earth's axis, or were their observations more intuitive, derived from patient and careful observation over generations? The answer remains unclear, and the mystery itself becomes part of the meditation, inviting reflection on human patience, ingenuity, and the desire to understand the world beyond immediate perception. There are also ancient records that describe unusual celestial events, comets, meteor showers, and eclipses, that modern science can often verify, yet the interpretations given by ancient observers can feel enigmatic. Some accounts suggest phenomena that do not match known astronomical events, hinting at observations lost to time or events we have yet to fully understand. These descriptions, preserved in stone, clay, or parchment, evoke a sense of wonder and quiet puzzlement. They remind us that while science can illuminate much, there are still corners of history and the cosmos that remain shrouded in mystery, waiting patiently for curious minds to encounter them once more. The study of ancient astronomy also illuminates the universality of human curiosity. Across different continents and millennia, distant civilizations independently developed sophisticated methods of observing and recording the heavens. Despite vast cultural and geographic separations, a shared human impulse emerges. The desire to find order in the night sky, to understand cycles, to connect earthly life with celestial rhythms. This universality is both comforting and mysterious, revealing a thread of continuity in human thought and imagination, a gentle reminder that across time and space, humans have always sought to understand their place in the universe. As we reflect on these ancient celestial mysteries, it becomes clear that the sky was more than a mere backdrop to human life. It was a source of guidance, inspiration, and wonder, shaping civilizations and influencing thought, art, and ritual. The precision and sophistication of ancient astronomical practices challenge modern assumptions, while the unanswered questions invite a meditative exploration of curiosity, patience, and imagination. In this space, the mind can wander freely, drifting among constellations, eclipses, and the cycles of planets, feeling both small and connected, awed and soothed, as the night stretches on and the stars continue their silent dance. In contemplating the mysteries of ancient astronomy, we are reminded that knowledge is not always about answers, but about the quiet pursuit of understanding. The night sky, observed for thousands of years, remains both a teacher and a companion, its patterns and anomalies inviting reflection rather than urgency. Ancient astronomers, through their patient observations and meticulous records, offer us not just data, but a glimpse into the human desire to reach beyond the immediate, to connect with forces larger than oneself, and to leave behind traces that speak across millennia. In their work, we find a rhythm that is both calming and inspiring, a rhythm that carries us gently into the deeper mysteries of the past and into the vast, uncharted expanse of the universe itself. Even the most careful study of ancient civilizations reveals gaps, quiet spaces where knowledge has been lost, forgotten, or never recorded. Across time, scrolls have disintegrated, manuscripts have been destroyed, and oral traditions have faded with the passing of those who remembered them. The disappearance of these fragments leaves us with tantalizing glimpses of human achievement, suggesting sophistication and understanding that may forever remain partially hidden. In these silences, the mind is invited to wander, to consider not only what was recorded, but also what was missed, lost, or deliberately hidden. There's a gentle rhythm in pondering these absences, a kind of soft, meditative curiosity that allows the imagination to fill spaces without the urgency of certainty. Artifacts often hint at knowledge we can no longer access. Objects whose purposes remain debated, symbols that have yet to be deciphered, and constructions that cannot be fully explained serve as bridges to the past. Each fragment suggests an entire system of understanding that once existed, now only partially visible through the lens of surviving evidence. A carved seal, a cryptic inscription, a tool with no known counterpart. They all whisper of ideas and skills that exceeded the boundaries of their time. The listener, in this gentle exploration, drifts along these echoes, sensing both human ingenuity and the quiet melancholy of lost comprehension. The loss of knowledge is not always accidental. Some traditions may have been deliberately concealed, reserved for a select few, or destroyed during periods of upheaval. Libraries burned, rituals forbidden, and secrets guarded, all contribute to the patchwork of mystery we encounter today. Even when fragments survive, context is often missing, leaving us to piece together stories with imagination as much as with evidence. This interplay between what is known and what remains inaccessible creates a subtle tension, a calm fascination that draws the mind deeper into reflection rather than demanding immediate answers. It is a rhythm of inquiry that soothes while it stimulates, much like a soft, meandering river guiding its way through an ancient landscape. Consider, for instance, ancient writings that reference techniques, philosophies, or practices lost over millennia. Recipes for medicines, instructions for building tools, or philosophical ideas may have vanished entirely, leaving only hints in secondary sources or allusions in unrelated texts. Modern science sometimes rediscovers elements of this knowledge, yet there are countless aspects that remain elusive. Each rediscovery is a reminder of both human ingenuity and the fragility of memory across generations. The gentle oscillation between discovery and loss is part of the narrative's allure, offering a calm, reflective pace as we drift from one enigmatic clue to another. Similarly, monumental constructions often suggest skills or methods that have no clear precedent or explanation. The precise quarrying, transportation, and alignment of massive stones, or the creation of intricate artwork, hints at techniques and knowledge that may have disappeared with the civilizations that produced them. Archaeologists and historians can offer hypotheses, but many questions remain unanswered. The uncertainty is not anxiety-inducing. Rather, it encourages a contemplative state, allowing the mind to linger over possibilities, imagining hands at work, tools being fashioned, and ideas taking shape. In this meditative space, the unknown becomes a companion rather than a barrier. Even in the realm of ritual and belief, lost knowledge has left its mark. Ceremonies, sacred sites, and religious practices often had meanings that were transmitted orally or encoded symbolically. Over centuries, as languages shifted, empires fell, and cultures merged or vanished, the original significance of these practices was obscured. Temples, shrines, and ceremonial objects remain, silent yet eloquent, carrying whispers of knowledge that are tantalizing but incomplete. For the listener, there is a comforting cadence in tracing these faint lines of meaning, imagining a culture's understanding of the world without needing full comprehension, allowing the mind to float gently in curiosity and reflection. The very gaps in knowledge, paradoxically, enhance our sense of connection to the past. They remind us that history is not a complete, closed book, but a living tapestry woven from fragments, memories, and unanswered questions. Each fragment invites engagement, reflection, and imagination, offering a rhythm of contemplation that aligns perfectly with the sleep-friendly, meditative flow of this narrative. The lost knowledge of ancient peoples is not a void, but a space for gentle wonder, a quiet echo of human endeavor that stretches across millennia. In these spaces, we find a delicate balance between evidence and imagination, between certainty and speculation. The mind is encouraged to wander, tracing possibilities without needing to arrive at definitive answers. Lost knowledge becomes a companion on this journey, guiding attention softly, maintaining curiosity while nurturing calm. It is an invitation to experience the past not only as a sequence of facts, but as a living, breathing landscape of mystery and reflection. And as we prepare to move from these whispers of lost wisdom to the tangible mysteries of strange artifacts, the rhythm of contemplation settles the mind, readying it to explore the next layer of human ingenuity and enigma. Among the relics of ancient civilizations are objects that speak to us across the centuries, not only through their craftsmanship, but through the mysteries they embody. These artifacts challenge our understanding, hinting at knowledge and abilities that seem astonishing for their time. Consider the Antikythera mechanism, an artifact recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. This intricate assembly of gears, bronze plates, and dials is often described as an ancient analog computer, capable of predicting celestial positions, eclipses, and lunar cycles. Scholars marvel at its complexity, suggesting that it represents technological sophistication far beyond what we once thought possible in the Hellenistic period. How did its creators conceive of such intricate mechanisms? How did they design, construct, and calibrate it with precision, without the benefit of modern mathematical tools or machinery? These questions do not overwhelm. Instead, they invite a quiet reflection, a soft fascination that gently engages the mind while allowing it to drift freely among possibilities. Similarly, the Baghdad Battery, a small clay vessel containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod, hints at an understanding of electricity that seems extraordinary for its era. Although its exact purpose remains debated, some researchers suggest it could have been used to generate a small electrical charge, perhaps for electroplating or medicinal purposes. The very idea that ancient peoples might have experimented with energy in ways previously considered impossible challenges conventional assumptions about the past. It encourages a subtle, meditative curiosity to imagine the quiet experiments of long-ago inventors, working with rudimentary materials, guided by observation, intuition, and necessity. The mystery is not frightening. It is calm, almost like a whisper from the past, inviting reflection rather than demanding answers. Artifacts with inexplicable carvings, unusual shapes, or unknown purposes abound across the ancient world. The carved stones and figurines of the Olmecs, for example, continue to spark debate over their meaning. Were they representations of rulers, deities, or symbolic figures whose significance has been lost to time? Small metal objects, such as the intricate goldwork of pre-Columbian South America, suggest advanced techniques in metallurgy, yet the exact methods remain elusive. Each piece tells a story partially known and partially hidden, bridging the tangible achievements of human hands with the intangible mysteries of human thought. The gentle interplay between what is visible and what remains enigmatic allows the listener to explore these objects with calm curiosity, appreciating both their beauty and their enduring secrets. Even more enigmatic are artifacts that hint at knowledge seemingly beyond the technological capabilities of their creators. Consider the precise stonework found in ancient South American cities, where enormous stones are cut and fitted together with such accuracy that not even a blade of grass can pass between them. Some of these stones weigh tens of tons, yet they are shaped with incredible precision, forming walls and structures that have survived earthquakes and centuries of weathering. Scholars debate how such feats were achieved, proposing methods ranging from ingenious mechanical techniques to lost technologies now forgotten. The questions themselves create a soothing rhythm. Each hypothesis opens a new path of thought, each possibility invites the imagination to wander, and each unanswered question reinforces the allure of the unknown. Certain objects, like enigmatic carvings on cave walls or symbols etched onto tablets, appear to encode information whose meaning is not yet understood. These markings, found in various cultures around the world, suggest systems of knowledge that may have been widespread, sophisticated, or even esoteric. The act of contemplating these objects is almost meditative, as one considers the hands that made them, the minds that imagined them, and the worlds they once inhabited. There is a delicate beauty in this act of reflection. The artifacts are at once familiar and alien, concrete and mysterious, inviting a calm engagement with the past while preserving the quiet thrill of discovery. Many of these artifacts share a connection to celestial observation or spiritual practice, hinting at an understanding of cycles, time, and energy that was deeply embedded in ancient life. They suggest that knowledge was not purely practical, but intertwined with philosophy, religion, and the natural world. A carved symbol may mark the rising of a star, a small device may predict a lunar eclipse, and a meticulously shaped stone may encode sacred geometry. In each case, the artifact becomes more than an object. It is a testament to the human desire to understand, to record, and to interact with forces greater than oneself. The mind, encouraged by the rhythmic narration, drifts gently through these connections, savoring both the known achievements and the lingering questions. The quiet fascination with these artifacts is enhanced by their ability to connect us to individuals who lived thousands of years ago. Each piece, carefully shaped and preserved, carries with it the intentions, skills, and imagination of its maker. Holding or imagining such an object fosters a sense of kinship across time. The recognition that curiosity, creativity, and the urge to understand the world are timeless human traits. And yet, for all the insights they offer, these artifacts maintain their mystery. They remind us that history is never fully complete, that some knowledge is lost, hidden, or encoded in ways we have yet to decipher. In this gentle uncertainty, there is both calm and wonder, a duality that is perfectly suited to a meditative, sleep-friendly narrative. Artifacts also challenge assumptions about cultural development and the diffusion of knowledge. Objects with similar forms or functions have been found across distant and seemingly unconnected regions, suggesting either independent innovation or networks of exchange that are now obscured by time. Such discoveries invite reflection on the reach and interconnectedness of human civilization, revealing that even in ancient times, knowledge may have flowed more widely than previously believed. The mind, moving slowly through these possibilities, can linger over the mystery without urgency, enjoying the gentle cadence of speculation, observation, and quiet imagination. Ultimately, these strange and inexplicable artifacts serve as bridges between past and present, between the tangible and the unknown. They encourage contemplation rather than conclusion, inviting the listener to consider what was understood, what was imagined, and what may forever remain a mystery. In the soft presence of these objects, the mind finds a calm rhythm, tracing possibilities, honoring human ingenuity, and embracing the quiet wonder that arises from unanswered questions. Each artifact is a small echo from the past, resonating with the enduring mystery of human thought, the sophistication of hands and minds long gone, and the timeless allure of knowledge just beyond our grasp. They remind us that the beauty of the ancient world lies not only in what was achieved, but in what remains unresolved, a silent invitation to explore, reflect, and drift into the quiet contemplation of history's enduring enigmas. The natural world has always been a source of wonder and enigma for human beings, and in ancient times, the mysteries of nature were often intertwined with the stories of gods, spirits, and unseen forces. People observed the rhythms of the seasons, the flow of rivers, the patterns of the wind, and the movements of the stars, seeking meaning in what they saw. Some phenomena were predictable, their cycles understood and recorded with astonishing precision. Others, however, defied explanation. Strange lights in the sky, sudden changes in the weather, inexplicable earthquakes, and other unusual occurrences that were often interpreted as messages from the divine. These natural mysteries, recorded in texts, carvings, and oral traditions, continue to captivate our imagination, bridging the gap between the known and the unknowable. Consider, for example, reports of luminous phenomena in the sky, documented across different civilizations and centuries. Ancient records speak of glowing spheres, fiery streaks, and unusual alignments that seem to defy natural explanation. In Mesopotamia, scribes noted celestial events that cannot always be reconciled with modern astronomical calculations, hinting at observations or occurrences that remain puzzling to this day. Similarly, in medieval China, meticulous records of unexplained lights, meteors, and comets were preserved, demonstrating a careful attempt to understand and document the extraordinary. These observations, while perhaps misunderstood in their own time, highlight a human desire to track, interpret, and find meaning in what is beyond ordinary perception. For the listener, imagining these distant observers under the night sky evokes a calm sense of connection across centuries, a shared human curiosity that spans both time and culture. Other natural phenomena, such as sudden flooding, volcanic eruptions, or earthquakes, were often attributed to the actions of deities or spiritual forces. While modern science can explain these events in terms of geology, hydrology, or atmospheric dynamics, the way ancient people interpreted them adds layers of intrigue and reflection. They were not merely disasters. They were messages, omens, or lessons. Stories of the Nile's flooding, for instance, describe both its vital importance for agriculture and the awe it inspired in those who relied upon it. Ancient Egyptians, through careful observation and experience, developed systems to predict and manage the floods, demonstrating both practical knowledge and a deep spiritual engagement with natural cycles. The interplay between empirical observation and mystical interpretation creates a rich narrative, allowing the listener to drift calmly between fact and story, reality and imagination. Some natural events were so rare or strange that they left lasting impressions, recorded as extraordinary occurrences that continue to baffle modern scientists. Aurora-like displays, unusual cloud formations, or patterns of lightning are mentioned in texts and myths, often attributed to supernatural causes. In some cases, these events were repeated over centuries, suggesting that they may have been linked to cycles or phenomena that we are only beginning to understand. The mystery of these occurrences is compounded by the lack of consistent scientific documentation from the past, leaving room for speculation, imagination, and quiet contemplation. For a mind settling into a meditative state, picturing these rare and beautiful phenomena, as observed by humans long ago, evokes a sense of wonder that is both gentle and profound. Volcanic activity, too, played a significant role in shaping ancient understanding of the natural world. The eruption of Thera, for example, left a lasting mark on the Minoan civilization, reshaping landscapes and influencing myths of gods and catastrophes. Observers would have witnessed fire and ash, earthquakes and tsunamis, events that must have seemed incomprehensible and terrifying. Yet within these destructive forces, humans sought patterns and meaning. They recorded the events, integrated them into mythology, and perhaps even adjusted their societies in response to nature's unpredictability. This delicate balance between observation, interpretation, and adaptation highlights the depth of human engagement with the mysteries of the earth and encourages a quiet reflection on both vulnerability and resilience across time. The ocean, too, has long been a source of inexplicable phenomena. Tales of glowing waters, sudden whirlpools, and inexplicable waves appear in myths from many coastal civilizations. Sailors and coastal dwellers documented unusual patterns, sometimes attributing them to spirits, gods, or distant lands beyond their knowledge. The persistence of these stories across different cultures suggests that certain natural phenomena may have been widely experienced yet poorly understood, leaving behind echoes that continue to captivate modern curiosity. Imagining these experiences, standing on a cliff as the sea glows beneath a full moon, or watching a wave behave in a manner never seen before, creates a soothing yet thrilling tension between known and unknown, comfort and awe. Even simple weather events could take on a mysterious quality. Lightning, tornadoes, sudden storms, and hailstorms were interpreted not only as natural occurrences, but as messages from the cosmos. Ancient peoples often created rituals and stories to make sense of these events, blending observation with spiritual or symbolic meaning. Their meticulous attention, combined with imaginative interpretation, reflects a mind deeply engaged with the rhythms and unpredictability of the world. For the listener, imagining these ancient observers standing under darkened skies, watching phenomena unfold with awe and respect, invites a gentle, reflective state, bridging the gap between curiosity and relaxation. Natural phenomena were also closely tied to agricultural cycles, health, and survival. Understanding the timing of rains, droughts, floods, and seasonal shifts was crucial, yet not always predictable. Ancient civilizations observed, recorded, and sometimes ritualized these events to mitigate uncertainty and harmonize with natural rhythms. The combination of empirical observation and myth-making demonstrates a dual approach to the mysteries of nature, blending knowledge and belief in a way that resonates deeply with the human need for understanding and comfort. As we consider these ancient practices, the mind can drift gently along the continuum of observation, adaptation, and imagination, savoring the subtle interplay of knowledge and mystery. In reflecting upon these strange and unexplained natural phenomena, one realizes that they offer more than curiosity. They provide a rhythm, a cadence for meditation and contemplation. The unknown events of the past, whether celestial, geological, or meteorological, invite the mind to float freely, imagining the awe and wonder of those who first observed them. They remind us that the human experience has always been shaped by forces larger than ourselves, and that the effort to understand, interpret, and live in harmony with these forces is a timeless pursuit. In this gentle exploration, mystery is not threatening but comforting, offering the listener a calm passage into the quiet, reflective space where history, nature, and imagination meet. Throughout history, some of the most enduring mysteries are not only about what was built, but also about how it was accomplished. Ancient civilizations left behind constructions of astonishing scale and precision, raising questions that have challenged historians, engineers, and archaeologists for centuries. From pyramids that reach impossibly into the sky to massive stone walls perfectly aligned with one another, these structures suggest a level of technical knowledge that seems, at first glance, almost unimaginable given the tools available at the time. How did people lift stones weighing dozens of tons without cranes? How did they shape and fit blocks so precisely that modern engineers sometimes struggle to replicate their accuracy? It is in these questions that both fascination and quiet reflection arise, inviting a calm meditation on human ingenuity across the ages. Take, for instance, the Great Pyramid of Giza, a marvel of architecture and engineering. Its precise orientation to the cardinal points, the uniformity of its massive limestone blocks, and the internal chamber's meticulous construction remain points of speculation and awe. Ancient engineers achieved levels of precision that are difficult to fully comprehend, especially considering the limitations of tools and technology available during the period. The coordination required, moving tens of thousands of heavy stones, aligning them with celestial points, and planning a structure of such immense scale, is staggering. Yet, the true methods remain elusive, leaving space for contemplation rather than frustration. The mind, gently guided through the possibilities, can marvel at human determination and creativity, appreciating the rhythm of planning, labor, and vision that such projects demanded. Moving across continents, we encounter the astonishing walls of Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Here, enormous stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, fit together with astonishing precision, so tightly that not even a blade of grass can fit between them. The alignment is so exact, the craftsmanship so meticulous, that the methods of construction remain speculative at best. Scholars have proposed levers, ramps, and sheer manual effort, yet none fully account for the finesse evident in the finished work. Imagining the careful planning, trial and error, and dedication required to achieve such feats evokes a meditative rhythm. Each stone moved, each gap measured, each surface smooth, becomes a small story of human persistence. In this way, the unknown methods enhance the wonder rather than diminishing it, leaving the listener with a sense of awe that is calm, immersive, and contemplative. Similarly, the temples of Angkor Wat in Cambodia demonstrate not only artistic mastery, but also logistical genius. Enormous sandstone blocks were quarried, transported, and assembled into complex structures with corridors, bas-reliefs, and towering spires. The construction required careful planning of both resources and labor, and the precision with which the blocks fit together suggests an understanding of geometry and structural stability that was remarkably advanced. The methods used to transport and position these massive stones remain a source of speculation, providing fertile ground for imagination and reflection. As one envisions the coordinated effort of thousands of workers, moving in harmony with both human ingenuity and natural landscapes, a sense of rhythm emerges, a quiet pulse of human endeavor echoing across centuries. Even in Europe, ancient structures present challenges to our understanding. The megaliths of Karnak in France, the dolmens of Ireland, and the mysterious stone circles across the British Isles all display techniques that remain partially unexplained. These sites involve massive stones placed with attention to alignment, positioning, and stability that is difficult to reconcile with the simple tools of the Neolithic era. While theories abound, ranging from sophisticated sledges to the use of water or ingenuity in levering techniques, definitive answers elude modern researchers. It is in this uncertainty that these constructions find their power. They speak to human ambition, creativity, and a patient determination to achieve the extraordinary. The listener, drawn into the narrative, can imagine the careful choreography of ancient hands, moving stones, shaping landscapes, and leaving behind monuments that still inspire awe. What is particularly compelling about these ancient construction methods is that they blend practicality with spiritual and symbolic purpose. The placement of stones, the alignment of walls, and the orientation of temples often reflect celestial phenomena, sacred geography, or cosmological principles. The techniques themselves, though impressive, are inseparable from the intent behind them. Builders were not merely creating functional structures. They were crafting spaces imbued with meaning, designed to harmonize with both the natural world and human perception. This duality, the fusion of technical skill with philosophical or spiritual vision, enhances the allure of these ancient constructions, offering a rhythm that balances intellect and imagination, precision and mystery. In some cases, the construction techniques themselves may encode knowledge that has been partially lost to history. Certain architectural patterns, stone-fitting methods, and spatial designs suggest an advanced understanding of stress distribution, acoustics, and environmental adaptation. The reasoning behind these techniques, while largely speculative, invites a gentle meditation on the depth of human cognition in eras long past. By reflecting on the ingenuity required to achieve these feats, the mind is led through a calm exploration of cause and effect, problem-solving, and the imaginative leaps necessary to overcome material limitations. The ongoing study of ancient construction methods also reminds us that human creativity is not confined by the tools at hand. Innovation often arises from necessity, observation, and collaboration. The careful quarrying, moving, and shaping of massive stones, combined with precise alignment and design, illustrates the extraordinary capabilities of societies often assumed to be primitive. These structures invite a contemplation of the human spirit, the determination to achieve, to create lasting impact, and to harmonize effort with vision. For the listener, the rhythm of these considerations is both soothing and intellectually engaging, guiding attention gently from one wonder to the next. Ultimately, these mysteries of construction are more than technical puzzles. They are reflections of the human desire to leave a lasting imprint on the world. The unknown methods, the labor, and the ingenuity all combine to create a sense of timelessness, a gentle reminder that human potential transcends the limitations of tools or technology. The monuments stand as silent teachers, inviting us to appreciate the delicate balance between knowledge, creativity, and mystery. In this calm reflection, we are encouraged to admire not only what has been built, but also the questions that remain, the rhythms of effort and imagination that continue to echo through time. As we move from the physical achievements of ancient builders to the more abstract enigmas encoded in their art, symbols, and writings, the mind carries forward a sense of gentle curiosity. The methods may remain elusive, but their legacy is clear. Human skill, vision, and ambition have always been capable of transcending immediate limitations. In pondering these ancient constructions, one feels a quiet connection to the hands, minds, and intentions of those who came before, a meditation on human creativity and the enduring allure of the unexplained. And it is within this reflective space that the next mysteries, embedded in symbols, artifacts, and knowledge long lost, begin to reveal themselves, inviting the imagination to drift deeper into the calm, infinite corridors of history. Across the ancient world, long before written science took shape, people developed knowledge systems that seem almost impossibly refined. They looked to the sky, the sea, the earth beneath their feet, and the seasonal rhythms of nature to guide both daily life and grand cultural undertakings. What survives today are fragments, stone alignments, carved symbols, fragments of charts, and oral traditions that have passed through countless generations. Yet within these fragments lies a hint of something larger, a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, navigation, and geometry that continues to puzzle researchers. These systems reveal a world where observation was not merely practical, but sacred, where knowledge was woven into story, ritual, and identity. The earliest star maps show how patiently ancient observers tracked the heavens. They did not have telescopes or digital instruments, yet they recorded constellations with astonishing accuracy. Groups such as the ancient Egyptians aligned temples with solstices, equinoxes, and specific star risings. The precise positioning of monuments like the Great Pyramid suggests an advanced grasp of cardinal directions, achieved through slow, deliberate watching of the night sky. Other cultures, like the Babylonians, created astronomical tablets that tracked planetary cycles over centuries, revealing long-term patterns modern scientists would later verify. These were not random observations. They required systematic record-keeping, mathematical prediction, and a cultural devotion to understanding celestial behavior. Navigation tells a similar story of quiet brilliance. Polynesian voyagers steered vast distances across open ocean using only the stars, the movement of waves, the flight patterns of birds, and the color changes in the water. To modern navigators, the feat seems nearly impossible without compasses or sextants. Yet these explorers reached and populated remote islands scattered across the Pacific. Their knowledge was not written in books, but embedded in chants, stories, and the training of apprentices who memorized the rising and setting points of hundreds of stars. In their world, navigation was not just travel, it was a form of ancestral connection, a dialogue with the sea itself. Ancient calendars also reflect a deep understanding of time and cycles. The Maya tracked solar and lunar movements with a precision that still impresses mathematicians. Their calendar systems interlocked in complex patterns, revealing profound knowledge of astronomical periodicity. In Europe, structures like Stonehenge mark solstices with a quiet precision, forming giant calendars of stone that aligned perfectly with seasonal light. These alignments were not merely symbolic. They guided agriculture, ritual life, and the timing of festivals that harmonized communities with the turning of the year. Civilizations as distant as China, India, and Mesopotamia developed independent methods for predicting eclipses, solstices, and planetary positions, suggesting a shared human intuition for celestial pattern-making. Geometry formed another foundation for these ancient knowledge systems. Early builders used mathematical relationships long before formal equations were written. The Indus Valley Civilization laid out entire cities using standardized measurements and grid-based planning. The Greeks would later theorize these principles, but many cultures practiced them intuitively through generations of craftsmanship. Whether shaping pyramids, temples, or vast ceremonial centers, ancient architects repeatedly demonstrated mastery over angles, symmetry, and proportion. Sometimes these designs served practical needs, like stability, acoustics, or visibility, but often they also carried deeper symbolic meaning, blending mathematics with cosmology. The mystery deepens when considering how oral societies preserved accuracy across centuries. Without books or digital tools, the transmission of knowledge depended on memory, ritual, and the completion of very long apprenticeships. There is evidence that some cultures used repeated ceremonies or chants to encode astronomical and mathematical data, turning scientific information into rhythm and poetry so that it would endure. In this sense, the ancient world blurred the line between scientific observation and storytelling. Where modern science prefers separation and structure, past societies integrated knowledge into the fabric of everyday life. Archaeologists and researchers continue to uncover examples that challenge modern assumptions. A surprisingly accurate star map was found painted on a cave ceiling in Spain, dating back more than 10,000 years. A Bronze Age disk discovered in Europe contains what appears to be a sophisticated astronomical guide, wrapped in layers of mythic symbolism. In Africa, a nomadic people known for their cattle traditions also preserved a precise awareness of star cycles connected to seasonal migrations. These isolated pieces suggest a world where scientific insight was far more widespread, and sometimes far older, than textbooks typically acknowledge. Yet for all this skill, much remains uncertain. Were these knowledge systems developed independently across the world, or were ancient cultures more interconnected than we currently understand? Did they arise from centuries of slow observation, or were there catalytic moments, discoveries, encounters, or events that propelled them forward? And why do so many of these systems seem to fade from the historical record, leaving behind impressive monuments, but few explanations? The more we learn, the more the picture blurs between clarity and enigma. Some scholars argue that ancient knowledge was primarily practical, designed for agriculture, architecture, and seasonal living. Others suggest deeper motivations, proposing that many structures were intended not only to mark time, but to reflect humanity's place in the cosmos. Evidence from rituals, texts, and carvings supports the idea that ancient people saw themselves in conversation with the universe, not separate from it. Aligning a temple with the stars was not simply an act of engineering. It was a statement about harmony, balance, and cosmic identity. The calmness of these ancient systems is striking. They were built slowly, with patience, by societies that measured time in seasons rather than seconds. Their teachings spread quietly from elder to student, from storyteller to listener, from observer to apprentice, standing beneath an open sky. Even now, when researchers decode a forgotten star pattern or confirm an ancient astronomical alignment, it feels like reconnecting with a long, deep breath from the past. A reminder that humanity has always been curious, always searching, always listening to the rhythms of the world. As this exploration comes to a gentle close, the focus begins to shift toward the narratives that carried these ideas across generations. Myths and legends, often dismissed as fantasy, may hold echoes of these ancient knowledge systems, encoded memories of celestial events, migrations, or lost methods of understanding the world. The story of human knowledge does not end with stone or star maps. It flows onward into the realm of legend, where imagination and history weave together into something timeless and quietly mysterious. Stories have always been humanity's way of preserving memory, understanding the unknown, and making sense of a world that often seemed far larger than any one person could comprehend. Myths, legends, and folktales carry echoes of real events, coded in symbolism, metaphor, and poetic imagery. Across continents, we find striking similarities in stories, tales of great floods, celestial visitors, lost lands, or cities swallowed by time. At first glance, these narratives may seem fantastical, the products of imagination or superstition. Yet when examined carefully, they often contain fragments of actual human experiences, memories of environmental shifts, migrations, or even astronomical phenomena that shaped life long before history was written down. Consider the recurring flood myths that appear in cultures as distinct as Mesopotamia, India, and Mesoamerica. In each case, the story describes a deluge that reshaped the land, an individual or small group chosen to survive, and a rebirth of life afterward. Scholars debate whether these stories record isolated local events, symbolic morality tales, or echoes of prehistoric flooding. The consistency of certain details, the timing, the scale, the survival of specific people or animals, suggests a deeper, shared human impulse to encode catastrophe in story form. Perhaps these myths were less about predicting events than about preserving practical knowledge, where to settle, how to recognize dangerous patterns in rivers, or how to interpret the changing seasons after an environmental disaster. Legends of lost cities or continents, such as Atlantis or Lemuria, carry a similar duality of truth and imagination. Ancient writers described advanced civilizations destroyed or hidden by cataclysm, yet archaeological evidence remains elusive. Some researchers propose these tales may reflect collective memory of vanished settlements, submerged by rising seas or volcanic activity. Others suggest that even when literal truth is absent, symbolic truths endure. The story communicates a culture's understanding of impermanence, human hubris, or the fragility of civilization. In this sense, myths are not failures of history. They are different forms of knowledge, encoded in narrative rather than in stone or metal. Stories of celestial beings, sky travelers, or gods who imparted secret wisdom also appear worldwide. In certain Native American traditions, people spoke of star people who brought knowledge of farming, hunting, and community organization. In ancient Sumerian texts, deities descended from the heavens to teach writing, law, and craft. Greek and Roman myths frequently describe gods interacting with humans, shaping societies in ways that could be metaphorical, allegorical, or based on memory of lost technologies. The recurring motif is clear. Knowledge, especially knowledge that seems advanced or extraordinary, is often framed as coming from a place beyond ordinary human experience. These myths may reflect an awareness that human understanding is provisional, always expanding, always reliant on guidance from forces larger than ourselves. Another intriguing aspect is how myths encode practical and observational knowledge. Certain celestial events, such as eclipses or meteor showers, are recorded in allegorical terms. Rituals tied to planting or harvesting may be couched in stories about gods or spirits, ensuring that vital seasonal knowledge is passed down accurately. Even moral and ethical lessons, embedded in myth, serve a practical function. They maintain social cohesion, encourage cooperation, and help communities survive. In this way, myth and knowledge were never opposed. They were interwoven, each reinforcing the other, creating a framework for living in alignment with both the natural world and human society. The dreamlike quality of myths also invites reflection. Unlike history, which insists on dates and documentation, myths operate in fluid time, allowing events from different eras or places to merge into single stories. This elasticity makes them particularly suited for preserving insights that cannot be reduced to simple facts. Symbols, repetition, and narrative patterns carry meaning that survives the erosion of time, even when language or material culture fades. By listening closely, one can perceive traces of ancient wisdom embedded in these stories, subtle hints of events, practices, or ideas long forgotten but not entirely lost. As the mind drifts through these legends, it becomes evident that myths are not merely entertainment. They are vessels of human experience, carefully shaped to endure across generations. They whisper the collective memories of people who lived in close observation of the earth, sky, and society, passing down knowledge in forms that remain poetic, enigmatic, and profound. While science seeks to categorize and measure, myths remind us that some truths are preserved differently in patterns, rhythms, and stories meant to endure not because they are literal, but because they resonate with the human spirit. In this gentle reflection, the listener begins to see that the ancient world is layered with meaning, much of it hidden behind the veil of legend. Just as stone, star maps, and architecture preserve fragments of knowledge, myths preserve wisdom encoded in imagination. They act as bridges between observable reality and human insight, between events and memory, between what is known and what remains mysterious. And as one contemplates these stories, the boundaries between history and imagination soften, leaving space for wonder, curiosity, and quiet contemplation of the long, intricate journey of human understanding. Natural landscapes often hold secrets that defy explanation, shaping human imagination and influencing culture for millennia. Across deserts, mountains, rivers, and forests, evidence of phenomena that appear inexplicable continues to emerge, leaving subtle yet persistent questions about the forces that shaped our world. In some cases, these phenomena are physical, like strangely aligned rock formations or geological features that seem to follow deliberate patterns. In others, they involve unexpected events, such as sudden changes in climate, mysterious lights in the sky, or unusual animal behavior. Ancient people observed these patterns with care and often interpreted them as messages from the divine or as markers of cosmic rhythm. Today, we are left to ponder the same mysteries, guided only by fragments of observation and the soft echo of wonder left behind. In deserts, for instance, massive geoglyphs carved into the earth remain visible from the sky, their purpose still debated. Some researchers suggest astronomical alignments, while others propose ceremonial or spiritual significance. What is clear is that creating these designs required extensive coordination, careful measurement, and a profound awareness of scale. These patterns reveal that ancient observers were attuned to both the land and the heavens, bridging earthbound experience with celestial observation. The mystery deepens because the techniques used to plan and execute such designs are still not fully understood, leaving room for imagination to wander across centuries and cultures. Mountain ranges also hold evidence of ancient ingenuity and unexplained phenomena. Terraces, tunnels, and rock formations suggest human intervention, yet the methods by which early civilizations achieved such precision remain elusive. In some areas, stone structures are aligned perfectly with solstices or with distant peaks, integrating geography and astronomy in ways that hint at sophisticated planning and a deep understanding of environmental cycles. These constructions are more than functional. They are markers of human curiosity, patience, and reverence for the natural world. Observing them today, one senses not only the technical skill required, but also the quiet devotion embedded in each stone, each contour, each line etched into the landscape. Water has always carried its own share of mysteries. Ancient civilizations often built reservoirs, canals, and aqueducts with engineering that astonishes modern researchers. The ability to channel water across vast distances, to anticipate seasonal floods, and to maintain balance within intricate systems demonstrates knowledge that seems to defy the chronological expectations of historians. Beyond utility, water features in myths and rituals across continents, often associated with life, renewal, and hidden knowledge. These dual roles, practical and symbolic, reveal that observation of natural phenomena was inseparable from spiritual and cultural interpretation, merging science with storytelling in ways that still captivate the mind. Even more enigmatic are phenomena that seem entirely outside human control. Unexplained lights, sudden geological shifts, or ancient records of celestial events that modern science struggles to match challenge the boundary between observation and interpretation. In the past, these events were often woven into myth, ritual, or prophecy, creating a cultural memory that survives in oral traditions and symbolic art. Today, they continue to inspire both scientific investigation and quiet wonder, as researchers attempt to reconstruct events with limited evidence. The interplay of known and unknown, fact and narrative, invites the listener to consider that the universe may still hold patterns and forces beyond our current understanding. The beauty of these natural mysteries lies in their subtlety. Unlike dramatic catastrophes or overt technological marvels, they require patience and careful attention to perceive. The wind shifting over a plateau, the way sunlight touches a canyon at dawn, or the alignment of stones along a riverbank, all speak to a human sensitivity to the environment, an awareness of subtle rhythms that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Ancient observers, attuned to these nuances, integrated them into daily life, ritual, and long-term planning. Today, we can only glimpse their perspective, letting the quiet elegance of the natural world speak for itself, an inspiring reflection on the continuity between human perception and the landscapes that shaped it. As we move gently through these landscapes in imagination, it becomes evident that natural phenomena are not only sources of mystery, but also teachers. They guide us to observe carefully, to connect patterns across time, and to recognize the delicate interplay between human ingenuity and the environment. The mysteries of the earth, water, and sky blend seamlessly with the artifacts, myths, and knowledge systems explored earlier, creating a vast tapestry of curiosity. Each unexplained feature, whether monumental or subtle, reminds us that the ancient world was a place of careful observation, quiet wonder, and an enduring search for understanding, a search that continues to whisper across time and space. Time has a way of burying secrets, gently covering the past beneath layers of earth, sediment, and memory. Yet sometimes fragments emerge, remnants of civilizations, inexplicable events, or anomalous artifacts that refuse to fit neatly into our understanding. These traces invite reflection, asking us to consider not only what we know, but what we may never fully comprehend. In this quiet space between curiosity and mystery, the mind drifts across centuries, imagining lives lived under unfamiliar stars, in landscapes both harsh and sublime. It is a journey not towards certainty, but toward contemplation, a meditation on the complexity and wonder of human history. Ancient ruins, scattered across deserts, mountains, and river valleys, often hint at technological prowess that seems astonishing given their age. Enigmatic structures, perfectly aligned with celestial events or geographical markers, suggest that observation and mathematics were intertwined with ritual and daily life. Some of these edifices display precision that modern tools still struggle to replicate, raising questions about how knowledge was developed and transmitted. Was it passed orally, encoded in stories, or shared through hands-on apprenticeships spanning generations? Each stone, each alignment, each surviving artifact becomes a subtle clue, urging us to imagine the minds and cultures that created them, and to recognize the sophistication that often lies hidden beneath the patina of time. Equally compelling are the natural phenomena that ancient peoples observed and recorded. Eclipses, meteor showers, unusual tides, and shifting landscapes often entered the realm of myth. Yet careful analysis sometimes reveals astonishing accuracy. The ancient astronomers, farmers, and shamans were careful observers, chronicling events and patterns with patience and devotion. Their insights, encoded in myths, monuments, or carvings, remind us that understanding the world requires patience, attention, and imagination. Even if the precise methods remain mysterious, the outcomes reflect an impressive, enduring human curiosity, a desire to make sense of the heavens and the earth, and to harmonize human life with these vast rhythms. Some of the most enigmatic phenomena lie in the anomalies that defy straightforward explanation. Artifacts that seem out of place, structures whose construction challenges our assumptions, and myths that describe knowledge or events far ahead of their time, all suggest that history is more layered and intricate than textbooks often acknowledge. These anomalies are not simply curiosities. They are invitations to explore. They encourage a gentle humility, reminding us that while science provides clarity and rigor, it is only one lens through which to view the past. The human story is richer, textured with mystery, imagination, and observation, often intertwining in ways that resist simple categorization. Equally fascinating is the way human imagination and memory interact with these mysteries. Oral traditions, storytelling, and ritual ensured that practical knowledge, astronomical insight, and even moral guidance were preserved across generations. Legends often contain embedded information about real events, environmental changes, or celestial occurrences, translating complex observation into narrative form. In this sense, myth and fact are not opposites, but partners. One translating experience into story, the other testing it against the evidence of material culture. The interplay of these forms offers a holistic view of the ancient world, one in which knowledge, wonder, and observation coexist seamlessly. As we contemplate these layers of history and mystery, a sense of connection emerges. The ancient world, in all its complexity, was not a distant or alien place. It was a landscape of human curiosity, creativity, and resilience, where observation and imagination merged to navigate life, understand the cosmos, and leave enduring traces for the future. The artifacts, monuments, myths, and natural phenomena explored earlier are threads in a vast tapestry, each one contributing to the quiet story of human inquiry. Together, they whisper that knowledge is never lost entirely, only transformed, sometimes hidden beneath stone, sometimes encoded in story, sometimes awaiting rediscovery through patient observation. The final reflection invites the listener to embrace this delicate balance between understanding and mystery. There is a comfort in acknowledging that some questions may remain unanswered, that some phenomena may never fully yield to explanation. Yet in that uncertainty lies a gentle wonder, a meditation on the human capacity to observe, imagine, and endure. The ancient world, with all its enigmas, becomes a companion for the mind, a place to wander slowly, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate the quiet beauty of curiosity itself. In the soft interplay of fact, myth, and unexplained phenomena, we find a timeless resonance, a reminder that the pursuit of understanding is not merely about answers, but about the journey itself, a journey that spans centuries and invites us to look at the world with open, contemplative eyes. As the journey through the ancient world and its many mysteries draws to a close, there's a quiet invitation to pause, to linger in reflection, and to allow the mind to drift through the centuries that separate us from those who first observed, recorded, and shaped the phenomena we have explored. Throughout history, humans have sought understanding in ways both methodical and intuitive. They charted the movement of stars across the night sky, measured the flow of rivers and streams, and studied the rhythms of the natural world, all while creating structures, crafting artifacts, and recording knowledge in ways that continue to awe us today. And yet, for all the knowledge accumulated, the past remains suffused with questions that elude definitive answers. The traces of human ingenuity, embedded in stone, metal, and myth, serve as reminders that history is as much about the unknown as it is about the known. They invite contemplation, not of solutions alone, but of the infinite web of curiosity, creativity, and observation that connects us across time. In considering the unexplained phenomena we have explored, one begins to see a pattern emerging. Humans have always been observers and interpreters of their world, often blending empirical observation with imagination. From the architects of monumental structures, whose precision continues to inspire wonder, to the artisans who shaped enigmatic artifacts that seem impossibly advanced for their time, humans have consistently sought to leave a record of understanding. Even when the tools, techniques, or knowledge used to achieve such feats have been lost to time, the surviving evidence serves as a bridge, allowing us to glimpse the intelligence, care, and curiosity of civilizations long past. It is humbling to recognize the persistence of this drive across millennia, a drive not only to survive, but to comprehend, to imagine, and to leave behind something lasting. The value of these mysteries is not only in the artifacts themselves, but in the questions they evoke. They challenge our assumptions about progress, technology, and knowledge, encouraging us to consider that human history is not a simple linear path from primitive to advanced. It is instead a complex mosaic layered with invention, adaptation, ritual, and insight. When confronted with an artifact whose existence seems impossible, a structure whose engineering surpasses our expectations, or a myth that hints at knowledge yet to be explained, we are invited to think beyond conventional frameworks. Each anomaly is a prompt for curiosity, asking us to imagine the networks of knowledge, the observational skills, and the cultural priorities that allowed ancient people to achieve feats that continue to captivate our imagination. The mysteries serve as gentle reminders that the past is a landscape of wonder as much as it is a record of fact. Equally compelling is the way these mysteries connect human experience across geography and time. Legends of celestial events, floods, advanced tools, or lost civilizations appear repeatedly in different corners of the globe, suggesting that humans, regardless of location or language, have approached the unknown with a remarkable sense of awe and imagination. Oral traditions, songs, carvings, and myths all encode observations and experiences, ensuring that knowledge and reflection are passed across generations. These cultural echoes remind us that while technology and society evolve, the fundamental questions remain remarkably consistent. Where did we come from? How does the world work? What lies beyond the visible? These questions, lingering across centuries, invite the listener to engage in quiet contemplation, blending the curiosity of the past with our own capacity to wonder. There's also a deeply meditative rhythm inherent in these mysteries. Unlike contemporary media, which often demands immediate answers and resolution, the enigmatic phenomena of the ancient world encourage slowness, attentiveness, and patience. A perfectly aligned monument, a subtle carving, or a strange artifact does not announce its secrets loudly. Instead, it requires careful observation, reflection, and imagination. This gentle pace mirrors the rhythm of sleep-friendly exploration, letting the mind wander, connecting details gradually, and allowing understanding to unfold softly rather than in abrupt revelations. In this way, the mysteries of the past teach a form of mindfulness, showing that observation and reflection can be as profound as discovery itself. The natural world, too, participates in this quiet teaching. Rivers, mountains, deserts, and skies all carry traces of patterns that ancient humans noticed and integrated into their lives. Celestial alignments guided planting and harvesting. Floods inspired myths of creation and destruction, and the movements of animals were closely observed for survival and ritual. These observations were encoded not only in practical tools and monuments, but in stories and traditions, blending empirical knowledge with imagination. The dual nature of this knowledge, functional and symbolic, reminds us that ancient humans did not separate wonder from utility. Curiosity itself was often inseparable from the necessities of life. The artifacts, structures, and myths we encounter today are echoes of that integrated awareness, inviting us to see connections that are both tangible and poetic. Perhaps one of the most profound lessons of these mysteries is humility. They remind us that human history is far more intricate, complex, and enigmatic than any single narrative or modern interpretation can fully capture. While scientific methods allow us to uncover evidence and construct explanations, there will always remain elements that resist definitive categorization. The anomalies and unexplained phenomena we have considered are not failures of understanding. They are reminders that exploration and inquiry are ongoing processes extending across generations. They encourage us to embrace uncertainty, to respect the depth of human creativity, and to recognize that some questions are valuable precisely because they do not offer immediate answers. As the mind drifts through the tapestry of ancient artifacts, monuments, myths, and natural phenomena, a sense of continuity emerges. The mysteries of the past are not lost. They persist in memory, culture, and imagination, shaping the way humans perceive and interact with the world. Each stone alignment, carved object, and legend is a thread connecting us to minds long vanished yet still vibrant in their curiosity. In this continuity, we sense that history is alive, not static. The past is a companion for reflection, offering insight, wonder, and a gentle sense of reassurance that human curiosity has always been and always will be part of our shared journey. Ultimately, the true gift of these ancient mysteries may lie not in the answers they provide, but in the way they cultivate curiosity, imagination, and reflection. They teach us patience and attentiveness, humility and wonder, showing that the pursuit of understanding is as meaningful as the knowledge itself. In the quiet spaces between fact and legend, in the interplay of observation, artifact, and myth, there is a profound meditation on what it means to be human, to seek, to wonder, and to leave traces for those who follow. As the night deepens and the mind relaxes, these mysteries linger like soft whispers across time, inviting the listener to appreciate the beauty of curiosity itself. The ancient world, with its unresolved questions and subtle wonders, becomes a gentle companion, guiding the mind into reflection, awe, and quiet contemplation. In this lingering curiosity, there is comfort, a spark of inspiration, and a sense that the human story, in all its complexity and mystery, continues quietly to unfold, inviting each of us to observe, imagine, and wonder once more.